nerdy and uncoordinated. I think I'm gonna miss that fist bump like every time. I'm like, hit it, yes! So I keep hearing all these sad stories about like dating sucks and never get laid. I don't even know what point that was me, but I recently got back with somebody. I know that's usually a frowned upon thing, but it's been a common theme in my life. My dating life has always been like, if you love it, set it free. If it comes back to you, you get to fuck it again. And it's great though, because it's like, you get over those humps, you get all the new romance energy from rekindling a relationship, but all the fun, like they already know how to work their genitals. So I enjoy that. But I've been thinking about polyamory, like the other guy was like, oh, polyamory, and that means you get a lot of gangbangs, which can be true. But normally it's more just multiple relationships, like stacked on top of each other in a trench coat, pretending to be like, and you have to pretend, pretending to be something else. But it's, the thing I was thinking about was like, they're always about, but what about the children? What will you tell the children? And just like anything because I have two kids. They're 22 and 15 now, and I've been openly polyamorous for like 12 years. So they've grown up with this shit. And I realize it's just like anything you do as a parent in front of your children, you make it lame. It's like, my kids are not like, they're very like, modest in their dress, and they don't really, I mean, I know they have fun because, well, not that they tell me because I'm not that kind of mom, but I know that they, because we've had the conversations, mainly because I like guerrilla, like, sex ed education. I wait until we're in the car moving and they can't, like, jump out. We need to be like, so, let's talk about sex. Or like the other day, I lived out an actual meme talking to my son about, like, consent and nobody should have surprise anal. That's how I decided to do it early on, because I was like, I didn't know what genitals they would be attracted to, and I was like, everybody's got a butthole, so I'll just start there. And Cosmos magazines growing up, for me at least, that was always like one of the top 10 ways you can please your man. Surprise him with a finger in his ass. No. Nobody should have surprise anal. That's a talked about thing. But yeah, I was having this conversation with my son, and I'm getting really deep into the conversation when he finally turns to me and goes, Mom, this is a Wendy's. I forget where I am. I tend to be just like, I talk about this stuff all the time. I want to normalize it. I want to make it something that, it just comes up in regular conversation. And I have to remember, like, we're in public spaces. My daughter's a lesbian, which I should have figured that out a little sooner. Early on, I was like, she's at the age where she'd like to draw like Sonic characters and stuff like that. And one day I came home, and on the coffee table were all these like anatomically correct Sonic character sunbathing. I was like, oh, she really has captured the vulva on that one. And I picked it up and closed the book, and I went to her, and I was like, you know what? I love your drawings, and I'm very excited how talented you're becoming. But let's not leave this out for Grandma to find. Because her grandmother's really, she yelled at me once for leaving porn out because it was a book about like people in New York type thing, and it was a woman wearing a t-shirt of a pair of boobs. So like, I figured if my mother-in-law walked in randomly, which she had a tendency to do back then, seeing, I don't even remember the characters, that's how involved in my children's like everyday life I try not to be. But yeah, just like I said, sunbathing, legs akimbo, and I was like, yeah, that could happen. With my son, he's even more like reserved. And I recognize that's a thing. Like, I'm his mom, and he's a boy, and he does, but his father, like, doesn't know how to make these conversations just naturally occur like I do. And I kept like being on to him because, he was getting older, and he was like because I try to like nip these things or get these conversations going about 3 years before it's needed, because you never know when it's going to happen. Because for me, I mean, my first time was I was 13. So if you're waiting for like me, you know, a certain age, like you really should. I wish somebody had started with me around like 9, 10, so you can get all that info in there and sprinkle it out. Because if you make it a wham bam thank you ma'am situation, you could have CPS called on you. But I was worried about him having his first night dream and waking up and not knowing what was going on. And I was like, hey, hon, have you had that conversation with your son yet? No. Like a year later, did you ever have that conversation with your son? No, I don't know how to bring it up. And so finally, one day I just like, again, wait till we're in the car to the grocery store, and we're gonna pick up ice cream, milk, and by the way, you might have an ejaculation in your sleep. It's okay, just wash your sheets, put on some new ones, we'll be done. Again, Mom. My friend's in the back seat. Oh yeah, that's sorry. All right, thanks for listening. I'm Lunas Menchaca.
Woo!
Give it up one more time for Lunas Menchaca.